What's up, guys? It's a Spent Man coming to you from the beautiful North Country. Today I'm going to be talking about the triad of food preservation and how to grow and preserve your abundance year after year, and keep it flowing, baby. Accumulate that food out in the garden that you're working so hard to produce, and we're going to do that by putting the triad of food preservation into action. And what is the triad of food preservation, you ask? It is freezing, canning, and dehydrating. So we start with our food preservation in June when the berries start to come in, and we sell some of the berries, and then we start packing gallon bags and filling up our freezer with them berries, because I love to eat a raspberry smoothie in the middle of the winter time. It's delicious and is awesome. So that's when we start with freezing. We're going to talk about canning just as we step into the hoop house. We're going to check it out right here. We got our cucumbers right here, and my wife Wendy works really hard to keep these cucumbers trellised and to prune them and do all that kind of work, so I can't take credit for this beautiful work. But check it out, beautiful Itachi cucumber, and these are going to get canned and pickled in our famous pickles, because people at the farmers market be loving our pickles. So that's one example of a crop that we can. Now I'm going to move you on over to the beans and show you what we got going on over there, because beans, we blanch and freeze some of our beans, our pole beans, and then we also dry some of our beans. And out back we have a big old dry bean field where we even produce enough to sell to all you awesome people through the mail, and sell bags of dry beans to our neighbors and customers and friends too. But check it out right here. We have our pole beans. These are rattlesnake pole beans right here. And up in the north, they don't really like pole beans, or they don't know about them as much as they do in the south, but we love us some rattlesnake pole beans, and we blanch and freeze and fill our freezer with enough rattlesnake pole beans for a year pretty easily off of this row right here. And down here to the right, we have our beefy beans. And this row, I'll give you a little side view of it as the northern wind blows in. Right here, we got maybe like 75 feet, I think, of these beefy beans, and they only need this really simple basic little trellis because they're half runners. So we have these little trellis stakes and then just some tomato twine on there, and this will be enough delicious dried beefy beans for at least through the winter, depending on how beany we're feeling. But I usually love to eat me some beans in the winter time and all the time. So here in the bean field, we can see examples of things that we freeze to preserve for a year and things that we dry and preserve for a year. So the triad of food preservation, guys, it's freezing, it's canning, and it's drying and dehydrating. We dehydrate mushrooms as well, and that's a really good example of that mode and the triad of food preservation. But also just the storage crops qualify as dried, right? So that is the triad of canning, and it's accumulating throughout the seasons, working with nature, working with the land, and doing things that are seasonally appropriate. And that's it. And the other thing, since we're not really hoarding, we're not really prepping, we're thriving, right? because this lifestyle, living off the land and producing all your own food, it's not about hoarding stuff, it's not about prepping, it's not about surviving, although it works really well for all those things. It's really just the best lifestyle. You eat the best food year round, especially with this triad of food preservation system I'm putting out there. And so it's about input, processing, and output as well, because we're not trying to process our food and think that we're going to have it forever and we're never going to have to grow food again or anything, or that we're going to buy a big pail full of food from My Patriot Supply or something, and we're going to have this idea that we have food forever. We got to put that work in for that really good, high quality, organic, beyond organic food every year. So when we got to clear out our freezer, so stuff from last year that we just didn't end up eating as much, that can go to the pigs and get turned into pork. So there's this big circle in these cycles, and we're trying to work with all these different cycles and not waste anything. And the triad of food preservation, freezing, canning, dehydrating, and then the kind of offshoot, the fork, the idea of input, processing, output. We're not trying to just hang on to stuff from the past forever. That is how we thrive out on the homestead. And like I said, we do it because it's the best modern lifestyle. It's the best way to live. You eat the best and you get to be out on the land, messing around on your property all the time, which can be really freeing and really fun. And that's what it's all about, baby. Anything to enhance the life, the liberty, and the property. That's what we're about. And that's why we implement the triad of food preservation year after year, because it's just the best way to do it, baby. But that's it for right now. I hope this video gave you some information, some entertainment, and have a great day from the beautiful North Country. This has been The Spent Man. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.